What if the freedom we celebrate was never ours to begin with? Most people wake up one day realizing they weren't born into a nation, they were born into a balance sheet. We mistake freedom for choice, but every choice today comes with a credit limit. You think you own your home, the bank holds the deed. Your degree, the lender owns that too. Even your time belongs to the ticking clock of repayment. This isn't a conspiracy, it's a system. A quiet empire built not on soldiers or borders, but on contracts, credit, and compound interest. It rules almost every decision you make, yet you never voted for it. This is the empire of debt, the only empire that expands without armies and conquers without war. It began with something deceptively simple, a signature. In the 20th century, the world learned that money didn't need printing presses, just promises. When banks issued loans, they weren't moving savings around, they were creating new money out of nothing. Your debt became their profit. That's how the modern financial empire was born. After World War II, countries rebuilt by borrowing. Mortgages, student loans, credit cards, each one pulled tomorrow's wealth into today's spending. For a while it felt like prosperity. But prosperity fueled by debt always turns into dependence. The 1980s transformed the system entirely. Money stopped being about what you earned and became about what you could borrow. Deregulation unleashed banks. Corporations discovered financial engineering. The rich didn't need to innovate, they could leverage. It was the era when money stopped representing work and started multiplying itself. By the 1990s, debt became invisible, woven into every life. Governments ran deficits without fear. People measured success by credit limits instead of character. The empire didn't force you to obey, it seduced you. Endless credit felt like freedom until interest proved it was. The 2000s turned debt into a traded commodity. Derivatives, mortgage bundles, swaps, a global casino built on IOUs. The crash of 2008 should have ended it. But instead, governments rescued the players and billed the public. The losses were shared. The profits weren't. Then came the era of zero interest, money became free, consequences disappeared, and the empire grew faster than ever. People borrowed to survive, not to thrive. It looked like stability, but it was only credit wearing a mask. 2020 exposed the illusion completely. Trillions were created overnight to keep economies alive. Debt became the answer to every crisis, even though debt caused the fragility in the first place. We finally saw how much of the global economy was just numbers on screens, wealth made of promises instead of production. Now the empire is evolving again. Digital debt. Central bank digital currencies, programmable money, total traceability. On the surface, efficiency. But beneath it, control. When money becomes code, debt becomes data, and whoever owns the data owns the future. But this entire system rests on one ancient pillar, trust. And trust is fading. Inflation erodes savings. Promises lose weight. People sense that the numbers in their accounts aren't as real as they once were. Every empire falls for the same reason, loss of confidence. Not bullets, not battles. Belief. And we are approaching that moment again, not collapse but a reset. A shift from paper wealth to real value. From debt-driven illusion to assets that cannot be printed. Because civilizations aren't built on borrowing. They're built on discipline, production, and trust. When a society stops creating and starts depending, its future is already mortgaged. The empire of debt is cracking. The question is no longer whether it breaks, but who rises after it does. In the next reset, the winners won't be those with the highest credit. They'll be the ones who understand value, reality, and truth. Because when the illusion fades, clarity becomes power. And the only question left is, will you be paying the interest? Or writing the new rules?